Right, let me just redo this, the Instagram live. Anyway, dude, welcome to the Weekend Crack. So, I don't know if I told you the last time
Crack on.
Crack on, yeah. So, I don't know if I told you about the whole Weekend Crack thing. I don't know if you remember that my dad always used to ask me, like, hey, son, like, what's the crack, you know? And that means, like, what's the news? What's going on? It's like a Gaelic word or something? Or news?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided that I would call the show the Weekend Crack because, well, it's like weekend news. What's happening? What's going on? You know?
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Yeah, the whole idea was to make something a little bit more current because, like my podcast, sometimes I might only publish the stuff like in a month's time.
Yeah.
And then it would be a little bit out of date, only a little bit. And
they're talking about models of motorbike, a year after their launch.
Yeah, like talking about the 2018 model when it's already 2020. So
a little trip to Sony Pass, which they've done too since. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, I just want to get the streaming going for Instagram. And then, so the whole idea was that it would be like a little bit more current. So if there's like music artists that have got shows coming up or there's a bike ride or something like that or a bike tour, the guys can come on the podcast, on the Weekend Crack, and they can just, talk about that, and it might be happening in a week or two time. And you don't have to worry about when the podcast is going to come out because it might only come out a month's time. So theoretically, we should be live on Instagram and YouTube. I'm just going to check here. Have you got Instagram that side, eh?
I've heard, yes, it's not uncommon.
Are you a bit behind the times there, dude?
What, Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram became almost like a social media thing.
Yes.
Because, the next generation after the initial social media gang era, the kids of that generation were like, no, that's too old school. We're going to do something else, which is why, Snapchat and other things came along and doing pretty well. But it's the same functionality, maybe with some tweaks.
Yeah.
But Instagram became, I just think it became something that perhaps they weren't expecting it to.
Yeah. And do you know much about TikTok?
Not a lot. No.
Right.
It is something that is spreading as fast as Snapchat did.
Yes.
A lot of the a lot of the funny videos we get are all links to TikTok. I like it.
Yeah. So it's like almost like a problem if you're like over 20 on TikTok. There are lots of people that seem to be apologizing for the fact that they are over 30 on TikTok. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Who decided
what are your friends going to say if they find out?
Well, yeah. Imagine going into the office on Monday morning and you like, you've done one of those crazy TikToks where you made a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I don't know. Don't you? Can you imagine back in our day when we were in school, taking a photograph of yourself? Taking a selfie. How weird would that have been? People would have thought, "Oh, that guy's crazy, man." Like now,
that guy.
But now people are so used to doing it. It's like, and I think it's the same thing with like those things like TikTok. People are just like, oh well, that's what people are doing now.
Taking pictures of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, nowadays, obviously, you could take, 24 pictures? And then you have to send it off for development, and then you...
You
can't just delete and... Yeah, you just hope for the best. What was that bin? If your photo was rubbish, you could bin it and not pay for it.
Oh, where was that?
Yeah.
What was that? Have I forgotten?
Back in our
Oh,
a
when you
long
went to
time
go
ago.
get
Yeah,
the physical,
you see, yeah, what's a good thing? I think
the physical.
yes, yeah, taking a little cartridge for development. Yeah,
yeah. Jeez, dude, we're on digital now.
yeah,
So
I know.
that,
I think it's best that we suppress those memories. Those are the memories we need to suppress,
okay.
and never talk about them again.
Yeah,
Because
the only bin it goes
a
into
bit
now is the
embarrassing.
recycle bin on Windows.
We need some sort of intelligent auto delete thing that picks up going,
yeah.
It's not your
That
best
didn't
side.
look good. Well, my Samsung does it. It'll tell me, listen, I think that photograph, the person wasn't smiling. You need to take it again. Or the photograph might be a bit blurry, so maybe you want to take it again. Which is not too bad. Eh?
Except if it's picking up, it's trying to be polite by saying you're not really photogenic. So perhaps take it again, and maybe this time you're not in it. You know, it's a polite way of doing that. Otherwise, you can maybe have a look. How many of those photos are you actually in?
Yeah, I think when your app starts telling you that you're not photogenic, I think we've crossed the line. What do you think? Oh, well. But I'm sure there is an app out there. I'm sure there is an app out there that does that kind of thing. Yeah.
No, anyway. I want it straight. You tell me, dude. Seriously, stop wasting my time and your battery. Stop taking those photos.
Yeah. Right. I think we should officially start. And I suppose any good show has to have some intro music.
Oh, yeah.
So it's welcome to Weekend Crack with my good friend Lessa, a.k.a. King Elgie from London, United Kingdom.
What's with the accent?
I don't know.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, United Kingdom.
Wrong accent for that region.
I know. I can't do a British accent.
No, but after that little intro, maybe it works.
Yeah, or maybe I must do an Irish accent. Yeah. Anyway, so, dude, welcome.
Please don't try that.
No. I gotta put a lot more practice into my musical impressions or my voice impressions.
I think we'll find that entertaining. Yeah, I think you should work on something. So let's
yeah, that's definitely one of those situations where you're going to go to the office on Monday morning and people are going to rag you about your really poor Irish accent that you pulled in, especially if they're Irish people in the office.
Yeah.
Or maybe
your Mexican's coming on well.
Gracias. Anyway, dude, what's happening there in the United Kingdom? I see your prime minister's out of ICU now.
Yeah. Yeah. Although until he's back and we can see him, and I'm a bit more of a conspiracy theorist. There's going to be propaganda as soon as your prime minister goes in, the leader of a country goes into intensive care. To stabilize markets and keep calm. They've got to have a certain amount of spin that's put through the media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we see him up and running again, that's when I go, yeah, okay, fine. He's a survivor. We'll keep him just for a little bit longer.
Yeah. No, well, it's true. I mean, I don't know if you follow the exchange rates, but the rand to the dollar has gone for a ball of shit.
Yeah,
the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
A lot of the exchange rates are starting to resemble the financial crash of 2008.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
We're only just recovering from that.
Exactly.
12 years on.
12 years on, yeah. And I mean, did you see that they've extended the lockdown in South Africa by 2 weeks, eh?
I didn't, but it's not a surprise. We're expecting a similar announcement next week.
So, like, what is your current lockdown situation? Are you guys locked down, or I mean, the pubs are closed, right?
Yes, pubs are closed. There's nothing else to talk about. No, the lockdown is very similar. We can buy alcohol and cigarettes, unlike your side.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very restrictive movements. You can go to work. You can go for one exercise a day. You can go out for medical emergencies or to buy food.
Yeah.
Other than that, stay indoors. But yeah. the traffic I've noticed has got busier. So people are finding excuses to go
somewhere,
to go out. Yeah. And I suppose that the reasoning is, well, I'm in my car, this is my zone.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I just drive around and go back home, then it's essentially contained.
Yeah.
And I'm protected myself. And it's like, yeah, they're starting to skirt the situation because they need to, because everyone's a bit ivy. I mean, you get these guys who are climbing Mount Everest in their house. You know, because they're that bored. It's been a few weeks. We've done a number of steps. Now the kid's mother has to go and buy new carpets.
That's true.
It's become a trip hazard.
Yeah, exactly. Safety hazard. But I mean, are you guys allowed to drive around, or is it like strictly from your house to the shops and back again?
Yeah, house to shops. Yeah, or house to work.
And are they enforcing that? I mean, are they like stopping people and saying, "Hey, listen, where you going and why?"
Yeah, the police presence is noticeable for reinforcement, and it's a good. It needs it.
Yeah.
There was a guy in my village who was apparently arrested for repeated offences of not staying indoors. So eventually the police gave up and arrested him, and said, well, if you're not going to self-isolate yourself, we will self-isolate you.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I heard, where was it? It's Austria or somewhere like that, that the fines were too small. So instead of being a hindrance, so people didn't want to get fined, they massively upped the fines.
Oh, wow.
It could take your whole month's salary.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so yeah, be careful. But I don't think I think every country's taking it differently, depending on how people are reacting.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this weekend here is sunny again. We're going to have temperatures in the 20s. Woo! Yeah, stay indoors. Don't get a heat stroke. Yeah, but there's this kind of weather that people are itching to get out.
To get out, yeah, I'm sure. After a long winter, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And, I mean, you're working from home, so that's all working. Is that all cool? Or are you still working long hours?
Yeah, still working long hours, but that's normal day to day. We're having less disaster recovery or business continuity meetings.
Okay.
Because the situation has, I wouldn't say stabilized, but is pretty much the same day to day. There's nothing much different so we're still on the same existing business continuity plan, and it's all working.
Yeah, and the demand on the data centers is, can you see, is it still increasing, or is it like stabilized now?
Yeah, it's on a new plateau, but it has leveled out, but it's on a new level. Yeah, the demands are still there. I've noticed that, because we're using a lot of these video conference bridges, and I use pretty much all of them, well, that I know of, and. With the first week of lockdown, the quality was dire. And then we noticed, I mean, there was a few reported outages on those platforms, but yeah, 2 weeks on from that, or 3, well, I forget how long I've been indoors. They seem a lot more stable. The quality they've adjusted, so it's not as great a quality, but they've certainly adjusted, and they seem to have done something, because they're all staying up with the odd hiccup. But nothing like it was in that first week. So yeah, things like this bridge also works. There's very little delay between us and the other side of the world.
Yeah, and I mean, but you said you guys were having problems with Zoom, or what's the deal there?
There was problems with all of them. I just think, in general, I have problems with Zoom, even in good times.
Oh, is it? Well, why?
I don't know what it is, and why? I just can't connect. It's such a rigmarole. The only great thing I like about Zoom is if I'm out and about and I'm actually connecting to a room from my cell phone, then it's got a nice little one-touch feature, and which is great for when you're mobile and walking, and I can just click that and it connects me through. And that's the only great thing I say about Zoom.
Oh.
Everything else is, if I'm on a desktop, laptop, it's such a rigmarole. And I'm working with 2 laptops, so it's the same on either of them.
So I mean, so what's your product of choice? Teams, Skype for business.
I think
Skype.
Well, Skype is now Teams, I suppose. Teams I use a lot more. look, I've got suggestions for improvements for all of them, but I think I use Teams the most. It seems to be the most stable. WebEx is only slightly behind, and then Zoom would be in third. Skype and Teams, same for me, same platform.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're still using Skype for Business. We've got Teams and Skype for Business, but they are going to deprecate the Skype.
I think Skype for Business is going to disappear, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's now become Teams, part of Teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense for collaboration.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out, because you mentioned to me, you were starting this thing with Oleg, and it's a shame because the guy, I wish he was on time. So
he's probably watching now.
He's probably watching now.
Either he's sleeping.
And I'm like, and I said to you at that time, well, that'd be cool if we did this together. And the first time we joined and Oleg was late, then we could start making a thing of this on a weekly basis. So welcome to episode 1 of Obligated Oleg.
Well, you know what? I've been trying to find a good nickname for him. I think we just found one.
Obligated. Yeah, we can do better.
Yeah, no, we can. I'm sure we'll come up with something. Yeah. So I think it's always good to have nicknames. I mean, back in our school days, we had some nicknames, and yours was King Algae, and mine was Sir Methane, on the back of the Quest for the Holy Grail from Monty Python.
Oh yes, there was Sir Parsley.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, I can't even remember. Yes, no, it is better because certainly if you have a name like mine, which normally is associated with a vanilla newsreader,
yes,
you need something to brighten this thing up.
Absolutely. So that's why I said I think I need to get a nickname for Oleg. I mean, he's from Ukraine, so I tend to call him the Russian or the Russian bear. But Russian beer is like an alcohol, so he was like...
Do the Ukrainians appreciate that sort of...
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, there's a bit of angst there.
Yeah, so we'll have to get a nickname for Oleg. At the moment, it's Obligated Oleg or whatever. Something like that. So we're going to have to either get a new nickname for you or you stick with the old one. It's up to you, yeah?
Hey, nicknames happen. You can't choose them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they happen.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're going to have to call you King Algae for now, and then if something happens, it happens. Or we just call you
What is your current nicknames besides Bearded?
Well, yeah, I'm going with the Bearded Fen. So Fen, well, do you remember me using Fen back in the day at school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's linked with the Sir Methane. So it's obvious.
All linked. Yeah, there's a common thread there. Good old days.
So what's happening on your side? What's the news?
Well, I mean, besides the lockdown,
what is it? You got your lockdown. It's been a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, so it'll be until the end of April is going to be the lockdown. So I was a bit bleak when I heard that, to be honest. Look, I know it's probably the right thing to do. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. I mean, look, I think the point for me is, I'm still working, so it's business as usual. But I mean, I've got lots of mates that are musicians, that are running their own businesses, got, restaurants or, tattoo artists and I mean, all these guys are sitting at home without any work, So, I don't know. Is it possible to try and balance it, still have a lockdown, but allow the wheels of the economy to start turning again? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so I do feel for those guys. I mean, I saw an article this morning. There's a place called Gilroy's, which is a craft brewery out in Muldersdrift area. And I mean, they make good beer, but they've got a very, very nice venue. It's very social, outdoors. You go there on a Sunday, you have to book because otherwise you can't get in. They've got good food, good beer, and they have live music. and people just love going there. And it's very social. It's not like, when you go to a restaurant, you're sitting there on your own. Everyone's interacting with one another, and it's a really, really nice place to go. And I mean, I saw the guy put out a message this morning on Facebook to say, look, they're going to try their best to try and keep the place going. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and I mean, that place has been going for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. I mean, it's, I don't know. So I think life after this is going to be like pretty different, dude. I think a lot of places aren't going to make it.
I expect a lot of places going to shut. I mean, the retail shops we've touched on before, they are going to go through some challenges here because everything's gone online, and now that becomes the norm habit if it wasn't before. But if you look at the things they use the most, if you use a corner shop, they might have struggled now. The little supermarket, the little markets, I won't call them supermarkets, they might struggle. Pubs, restaurants, it's we don't know what it's going to look like, but the outlook is a bit bleak. Hey, do you guys have government support? So in the UK, the government has said that they would support small businesses with long-term loans to try and keep them going. They've offered furlough.
Right.
Furlough, so they would subsidize people's salaries, not 100%, up to a certain limit, just to make sure people still have money, that companies don't fold, and therefore people are left on the street. There's a lot of that going on. So if you can't work and generate an income, and you're forced to go out and outside of your house, and therefore so the self-isolation doesn't work, you've got to go and earn money. Well, the government doesn't want you to leave the house, so they're now subsidizing people to stay at home.
Yeah.
If you can't already work from home, but you got to show evidence and all that.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's those kind of things, because the outlook is trying to keep the economy going and make sure that people still live.
Yeah, for sure. Look, there is some of that going around. Some of the Oppenheimers have donated 1 billion rand. Or put 1 billion rand out there for businesses to apply for. Patrice Motsepe, also one of the wealthier guys in the country, probably the wealthiest. Probably him and Nicky Oppenheimer, the two. He's also put out 1 billion rand, and the government's also like talking about maybe drawing out of the UIF to help people. Businesses and that kind of thing, so you can apply for that kind of thing. But yeah, so there is that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's going to put. I mean, besides that, it's going to put such a strain on our government, because already we've got state-owned enterprises that are sucking money left, right, and center. And I mean, at the moment, you go to SAA where they're all sitting. I mean, they're not flying, they're not doing any. They're not moving people, so who knows what's... I mean, SAA's just got a bailout recently, so who knows what this is going to do to the airline on the other side of this. But anyway, let's not talk about negative stuff, dude. Let's talk about positive stuff. So what is what are the good things that have occurred or transpired since the lockdown? Things that you are like sort of, okay, that's a bit better than it was before.
Where I'm sitting now is where I normally work while I'm at home, and I can see out the front of the house.
Yeah.
And there's a path outside on the pavement, and there's a street. But anyway, I can see, because we're allowed out for exercise once a day.
Yes.
And people need to get out the house. I've noticed, well, two things: a lot of delivery vans. Because you can still order your stuff online and have it delivered next day. Okay. So there's a lot of that going on. And then I see the people who are using exercise as an excuse to get out the house, not necessarily your usual slimline joggers, but more perhaps the opposite end of the scale, with Lycra, with speed stripes down the side. Yeah. Taking up a lot more of the pavement than perhaps they should.
Yeah.
It's a bit cruel, because I'm probably more in that category. But yeah, there's a lot more cyclists on the road. going past the house.
So you reckon now
what do they call them now?
What?
It is a phenomenon of if you're in you're 40 plus and you're taking up cycling and you've still got that beer belly. But yes, because everybody else you go cycling with is wearing lycra with the team colors, so do you. So what happens is if you come across this mass of cyclists out on the weekend, which we do every weekend, you see these mammals, middle-aged men in lycra. So yeah, it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, no, I have seen that as well. But you see, I'll ride past the cyclist on my motorbike.
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
Yeah.
These guys
I don't know. I think
sweating.
I think riding a bicycle is more dangerous than riding a motorbike. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, you do that. I think it's just they're as difficult as each other, or dangerous as each other. It all depends on the people around you.
Absolutely, yeah.
I had a cyclist pull out in front of me while I was coming down the hill. Was it last weekend?
What, in your car?
Yeah. I was in the car. He was on a bike. My right away. He didn't stop at the stop sign, and and I saw it coming. He didn't even look. He just went.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice little downhill. He doesn't want it. He wants momentum going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
so it's all about the people around you most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not about your own skills. You can be the best rider in the world, but it just takes one drink driver or one guy who's not paying attention. Let's not be sexist. It could be girls too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, that is very true. That's why I've got to, when I ride on my motorcycle, I've got to ride very defensively. And what I noticed was the day before we had the day that we were having our lockdown was coming into force, I had to go drop some medication off with my daughters, and I was on my bike because I thought it would be easier, parking lot, that kind of stuff. And so I decided that I would go on the bike. But I tell you something, people were not concentrating on the road. I almost got taken out 3 times in 20 minutes, which doesn't happen as often as that normally. And it's just because, I don't know, people were just maybe with this whole lockdown, their brains are a little bit, they're distracted, they're not thinking, they're doing U-turns in the middle of the road, not even looking.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So definitely it's not only you, it's the other people on the road that are the biggest problem, or can be the biggest problem. We're talking about cyclists skipping stop streets and traffic lights and all that. That happens very, very often here, especially early in the morning. Like when I was coming back from the gym recently, it was green for me, and the cyclist was coming from the other side, and so it was green for me, so I went. But you want to know how upset that guy got with me? Because I went through the green robot and he was going through the red robot. And he got upset with me.
Like it's his right away.
Yeah, exactly.
I own this road.
Yeah, well, anyway. So that does irritate me a bit. So, that kind of stuff.
We find that here. What I also find interesting when I'm walking to the office, and there's those heady days of when we used to go into London to the office.
Yeah.
And from where I caught the train in I walk across London Bridge, which is a congested area for pedestrians and cyclists and other things, buses. But what you find is, so you're obviously stuck at traffic lights waiting for the lights to change because it's busy. And the one morning that the cyclist went through the light, he paused. He knew he was doing it. Paused, checked there was nothing, and then speeded through. Cyclists on the other side were just shouting and going, "You're giving us a bad name. Who do you think you are? Stay off my road." That was
crazy.
good. Self-policing. I like it.
Yeah. So talking about gym, is gym part of your routine at the moment? Well, or before the lockdown?
No.
No.
It needs to be. And I think staying at home has actually re-emphasized that.
Yeah. Because
I have been... I hit a heavy weight. I noticed by Christmas. I went on a sort of wake up call, lose weight just after Christmas. Worst time to do it. All those leftovers.
Sure.
And still New Year to come. Yeah, it was the worst time to do it. But I've been very conscious about what I'm eating and what I'm doing, and and I'm using all the apps to help me get, reduce the weight load, which is working. And then we hit this self-isolation. So I was in good routine of knowing what I was doing, what I was eating, a lot more conscious about my choices.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of exercise, not gym wise, but just, I'm on the move constantly all day. I'm walking, running from one thing to another. On the weekends that I'm doing, play the old game of golf, or I will go and walk the dog for 6K, 7K a day. That was the kind of routine I was in. So I was fairly active without going to gym. Staying at home, I've gone from 10,000 steps a day to 147.
Yes.
So, and I'm eating different stuff. I don't have the selections I normally do.
So, I mean, have your eating habits changed? Or like the kind of stuff that you're eating?
Well, since I was stuck at home, or before?
Since you're stuck at home,
stuck at home. Look, I'm in a house with other people who do a lot of the cooking, so which is a good thing, because otherwise I'd be living on worse food than I do now. So they are, a bit supportive, but you can't help it. It's probably the stuff you can't get your hands on, the wine and the whiskeys and the beers.
But I mean, you guys can still buy alcohol there, huh? Like we can't,
but the point is, we didn't really drink at home during the week.
Oh, right.
But you go out on a weekend and you'd have a drink then, or you might have a glass of wine with dinner during the week or something. This is it wasn't sort of, the norm wasn't everyday drinking.
Yeah.
Now it's become every day.
Oh, shit.
Because this is like a weekend routine.
Yeah.
This is now everyday routine. It's like we're tearing through this stuff. So the calories are there. Yeah. This thing needs to end soon so we can get back to a different lifestyle.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was going to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week, maybe sometimes 5 times a week, doing 30 minutes of cardio on the exercise bike. So I've gone from that to doing nothing now. But I am doing some exercise, doing some push-ups and sit-ups and all that kind of stuff. But the first week, I bought some snacks for the lockdown or whatever. Dude, I fucking burnt that shit in the first weekend. Fucking packets of chips. Fucking, I mean, I don't know if you get guys, or if you remember back in South Africa, you used to get these Beacon marshmallow eggs.
Yes, right? I know them. By the boxes.
Yes. I bought 2 boxes of those, dude. Like in the first week, both of them were finished. Done.
Yeah,
Done.
How long does it take to get through a box? The first week. Have you checked yourself for diabetes?
No, I do. Seeing that I'm over 40 now, I do.
You're just over.
Health. Yeah, just over. I do a regular health check, and my sugar's fine. No diabetes yet.
Yeah, but you won't tear through 2 boxes of eggs. Anyway, I'm the same with those. You can't just have one, and then you have 2. It's like, I'm just getting a taste for this now.
Exactly.
Before you know it, you're like, well, I might as well just finish the box.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, so fortunately, I don't have any more, and I'm not buying any more. So if I go to the supermarket, I go down a different aisle just so that I can.
You see, I think you've been naive. I think you're going to go to the shops and you're going to realize it's past Easter. They're going to have all this stuff on special. You could buy 10 boxes for the price of 1. Yeah. And then this is the test, man. Wait, it's coming.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, sir.
No, I just thought I'd try and get you, get this forefront to your mind so you can mentally prepare.
I'm going to mentally prepare. Trust me. I just won't go to the supermarket. Full stop, man.
So I think a lot of people have been looking for ways to exercise, not just because it's an excuse to get out the house here.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many, videos out there around people who've done stuff, gym circuits around the house, or running up and down stairs to try and achieve some, what's the guy effectively ran the height of Everest.
Yes.
Which is just mental. I think there's other things going on. Yes, it's fitness, but then we now have mental fatigue, surely. I think that's probably taken over.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your sort of like mental health under these kind of conditions? I mean, being stuck in the house for long periods of time.
I think if I was stuck in the house on my own, it would be completely different.
Okay.
Because I have other people in the house that I interact, they've got their own routines and their own challenges. Some are at home all day with nothing to do. Others do have to go out to work. So it's different for me. If I was on my own, it would be, I think it'd be a lot harder. I'd be a lot more conscious that I'm effectively hibernating. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, because I'm still working, I suppose in a way that's, if I was just sitting, let's say I wasn't working and I was just sitting at home, I think I would be worse off than I am now. But I did fall into a bit of a bad habit that I was working long hours, and I wasn't like keeping my office hours, start at 7 a.m, finish at 4, 5, and then do my recreational stuff. I was like, everything was blurring into one another, and I was working until 12 o'clock at night kind of thing, because I was spreading the work out over the day.
You see, I would be the same. Because I was working long hours before, you just want to, when you get in a groove, you just want to finish stuff, and then it's done, and then you can wrap up. Yeah. Your flexi hours actually are more productive.
And then,
but if I didn't have people here, I would just carry on working.
Yeah, because I'm in the house on my own.
Time, I'm used to commuting time, right? Whether it's flying off somewhere or even going to my office in London.
Yeah,
that's still like just over an hour away. So 2 hours a day I'm commuting. Well, I don't have that if I'm at home. Sure, so if I finished work at the right time, I'd probably go mad just sitting there going, well, now what do I do? I wouldn't know what to do normally.
Yeah,
I'm never here at this time. Yeah.
And your social media consumption?
My normal routines.
Do you consume quite a lot of social media, or would you just like check in on the news or that kind of thing?
I think the social media elements fluctuate. I'm starting to move away from it because it just takes so much time.
Yeah.
It used to be good if I was, sitting waiting for a plane or a train or on the train to work. Those are the times where I'm like, okay, now I've got time to do this stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm not doing that.
Oh, so now your social media consumption has actually gone down and not up okay. Because I noticed, what I've noticed.
Yeah, if you're not working and you're bored, you're going to be on your phone or iPad or whatever, and you're going to be checking. Yeah. And if all the other bored people are posting, which then starts a tsunami of rubbish posts.
Well, that's what I've noticed. I've noticed that the sort of the amount of live feeds that are on Instagram have gone up dramatically. So every time I open up Instagram, I'll see there's a whole lot of people that are live. Whereas before, maybe there'd be one person live a couple of times of the day. But most of the time when I go into Instagram now, the people that I follow, a lot of them are going live with live streams. And but I see people are starting to get quite creative about the stuff the content that they're creating. Because I also consume quite a lot of TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. I like it. I like that there's more time and more planning, and there's better tools out there to be able to edit and craft.
Yeah. Oh shit, we were talking about this the other day. Imagine if we had this shit when we were in school. We would have had a ball.
We would have still been in high school, mate. There's no way we would have passed.
Well, listen, dude, I barely scraped through matric anyway. So imagine if we had that shit. Yeah, exactly. I think we'd still be in high school.
There were already distractions. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some people online on Instagram Live here. One of them is Nick Elliott, who's the cousin of one of my best mates from Wetbank. He's pulled in. He's just said, I've tainted him. I'm not too sure what he means. He's going to have to explain that. And I gather his social media consumption has gone up because, I mean, he's in the catering business, and obviously with the current lockdown, work is no more at the moment, unfortunately. So, but I just want to tell Nick, you need to create some more content there with that gimbal of yours. I'm waiting for that content, dude. Oh shit! He said I introduced him to TikTok, so you almost downloaded. You almost downloaded it. Yeah. Well, I do like a bit of a disclaimer. I say to everyone, okay, listen, have you got TikTok on your phone? And they'll say no. So I said, don't download it. But by the way, TikTok's fucking amazing.
Yeah, don't do this. Don't push that button.
Like when I was going to bed last night, I thought. So I'd gone to bed quite late the night before, so I was feeling a bit ragged yesterday. So I thought, okay. 8 o'clock, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go climb into bed and, catch up on some sleep and everything. And I made the fundamental error of opening TikTok. Dude, I lost an hour. Like, zing.
Yeah.
9 o'clock. Oh, shit, I better go to sleep now. So it's addictive, eh?
Yeah, it is entertaining, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram kind of started that trend. Yeah. There is some good stuff on Instagram.
I mean, do you remember Vines?
But they've just gone up.
Do you remember Vines? I never got into Vines. But it was also like a social media platform where I think you did 10 seconds or 15 seconds and these guys would do these skits. It's very much like TikTok is now.
Yeah.
But that's, I think they shut that down. I don't know why they shut it down. But I never really got into it. My kids were into it. And then when TikTok came along, I think TikTok is a Chinese application. There was another application called Musical.ly. And a couple of years ago, I think they amalgamated into one platform. So Musical.ly was more like this like lip sync kind of platform, but people were doing other stuff as well. And then TikTok was very similar as well. So they put the two together now. And now people are doing, I mean, look, there's some really good shit people do. I mean, like some of it, I look at it from a, creativity point of view, how these guys are creating these TikToks. I think the guys are putting a lot of effort into it. Eh?
I like it. I mean, I think it's having a knock-on effect because so the older platforms like Facebook is now just becoming a place where you share a holiday snap with your family or friends or pictures of food. And, it's all because there used to be some fun stuff. And I think that's all moved to the other apps now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What Facebook is obviously it's not for the current generation necessarily, but it's still around.
Yeah.
And it still has a lot of users. It's all registered users.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So what is that going to cause its death because all the fun stuff's moved off, or is it just going to take on a new purpose?
No, I think with like any business, so I suppose these social platforms, they've got to either keep up with the times, like create new features, maybe reinvent themselves or whatever. But I mean, like you look at Facebook. What did Facebook do? They bought Instagram. So Facebook owned Instagram. So, they've like almost like diversified. So, the users that are using Facebook for whatever I use Facebook mainly to post my my podcast stuff, maybe, just do an odd post here, but it's more.
But why'd you do that? Because you have contacts there, or because it's because traditional platform that you would automatically update? Like
it's one,
you would,
it's one
it
way.
used to be Twitter, Facebook, yeah?
Yeah, so like for instance, like I look at Facebook, I always looked at Facebook as a way, let's say for instance, for me, for my family and I, to share information. So my folks, all my family's down in Cape Town, I'm up in Joburg, and it's a great platform for me to share, what I'm up to and all that kind of stuff with my family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's transformed from that because eventually you started having Facebook friends, which are not your close-knit family.
Yeah.
Right? So then I'm not posting my kids' photos on Facebook anymore. Right? Because of the fact that, well, there are people there that I don't really know. We're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
So now what I've done is I try and have, increased my Facebook friends group so that I can then invite them to my Bearded Friend podcast page. And then when I put out a new episode or put out some content, then I can advertise it on Facebook. And that's what I'm using it for. And then I also use it just to keep up to date with my mates, see what they're up to, what they're doing, where they're going or whatever. But I still do put content out there that's intentionally put out there for my family to see what I'm up to. Hey, I went for a bike ride. Here's some photos of me, whatever. My kids can see that. My folks can see that. So there is a bit of that. But, I mean, I don't post a lot about my kids or a lot about my personal life per se on those kind of – because it's –
So you got a social media for depending on what? When I was getting to the point I was going, right, well, there's so many platforms. I need to go and update. Did I update that person on there? Because I've already updated. Have they got this twice? Have they got this 3 times? Or have they not got it at all?
Yeah. So like for me, Instagram.
I basically just stopped. I just stopped posting stuff.
Yeah.
Stopped updating stuff. And I think the only updates people get from me are probably through WhatsApp.
Yes. Occasionally.
Occasionally. Yeah. It's a long list.
Yeah, it's a long list. Oh, thanks, man. So I must be at the bottom of that list. Shit. No, I used Instagram mainly, and then I push it out to Facebook from Instagram. So I don't have to go and repost there. I just post it on Instagram.
Yeah, and there are those apps you can go and if you want to update multiple platforms, you can do it from one app.
Yeah, sure.
But then one is a work one is not a work one.
Yeah, no,
it's just too messy, too time consuming.
It is work to do that. But I mean, just going back to creating content for social media, like say for instance, like TikTok or whatever. So I just did a video. I had a bee in my bonnet, so I created a quick video of me leaving the house, climbing on my bike, and riding down the road and coming back. I mean, just to edit that.
Oh, those were the days.
Those were the days. Back
you can leave the house.
In the old days, I used to be able to do this. Now, I stay in the house all the time.
To go down the road.
But I mean, just to create...
Kids won't believe you, man.
No. Can you imagine in like 10 years' time when we're talking about 2020? What were you doing in 2020? Where were you in 2020? You know, it's going to be quite hectic. Yeah. But just to edit that video, like, dude, it like took me 2 hours. Eh? So when I look at content on TikTok and I see someone's created a really well thought out skit or whatever you want to call it, you know, I almost appreciate it for the creative value of it, because I know how much effort went into creating that. Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun ones. It's good. It's good to see, because some people have time to go and do the editing and the planning of what they're going to do. It used to just be students, you know, in their student dorms. They used to go and, I don't know, hit a golf ball or a table tennis ball, you know, across 6 rooms and across a pool table and into a glass. You know, that took 1,000 takes.
Yes.
You know, that was the students had the time for that, apparently. And now it's more people at home. There was a guy that, what was I see the one yesterday? He had to cut the grass, so he cut a golf course into his back garden.
Yeah,
I don't say golf course; it's more like crazy golf putt kind of stuff. And he had his wife filming him from upstairs, and giving running commentary on this. And we were like watching this, going, "Wow, we have no live sports at the moment. This is as good as it gets. This is all we can watch."
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many of these though.
So when I was chatting to my buddy Chris in Wetbank, he was saying that like he's got 2 teenage boys, same age as my girls, so I said, like, what's it like now with the lockdown and everything? And he said, the kids are so bored of PlayStation, YouTube, this and all that kind of.
When did that happen?
No, what?
Never thought I'd hear those words.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he said now they're starting to get creative. They're still filming. They're doing like shoots, if you want to call it like that, but they're both into golf, so they're doing like trick shots with golf. You know, they're like trying to chip balls into cups and that kind of stuff, which is, I suppose, because we often say like our kids don't have the same sort of childhood that we had when we were growing up, where we could just, you know, climb on our bicycle and disappear for a couple of hours and our parents wouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I think as parents, we're a little bit more protective. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but so our kids don't just climb on their bicycles and disappear for 3 or 4 hours kind of thing, like we used to do when we were kids. Yeah. Geez, dude, can you remember going down to Wetbank Dam, down to Fully?
Yes.
Yeah.
Follikies.
Yes.
Yes.
Bunking school and.
No, we never did that. We never bunked school.
Can you remember? Can you remember the day that we bunked biology? Morags.
Oh yes.
What do we used to call it? Did we used to call it Dr. Ruth?
We had a few names for her.
Yeah.
I'll think back. She was all right.
She was cool. She was cool.
I felt, a bit bad.
But can you remember we bunked biology, and we were in the prefect room which was a room behind the stage. Remember, we used to go hide in there. And
Above
then
gym,
Mr. Fisser bust us as we were walking out because biology was downstairs. And then, know what we did? We bunked physics.
We bunked physics, and then we went to biology, which is why we were
supposed to go into biology. That's it. I got the story wrong. I fucked it.
Yeah, but...
And as we walked out from behind the wall, behind the building, the officer was standing there. Busted.
He knew.
And can you remember the day that we? Can you remember the day we broke into?
This is what I don't get.
What
I don't get. You went into your career is in a field of chemistry.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We were in the same chemistry class.
Yes.
And I don't think we were that great at chemistry.
I was shit at chemistry.
I think we were just like, let's just get this over. When can we move back to physics? That was more interesting. Chemistry was like,
yeah, I know.
Next thing I know, you're off going studying this stuff.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of an admission in there, in the fact that I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do when I left school, and an opportunity came up.
An opportunity did come up.
Yeah, and I suppose I just took it. Yeah. Anyway, so I was very lucky.
Now look, see what you've done to yourself.
I know. Yeah. But can you remember the day that we broke into Miss Callison's car? Remember she had that Corolla Sprinter?
Deny or confirm that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She had a brand new teacher salary. She bought a brand new Toyota Sport.
Yeah.
16 valve, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And horrible school kids decided, we need to give an extra welcoming party.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
So I'm just got a bit distracted here. Old Nick on Instagram Live has just said that he's in a band. He's in a blues band called Gunshot Blue, and they're going to be live today on Facebook at 5 p.m. So 3 p.m. your time, I would imagine. Anyway, they're going to be live. Yeah. So this is what some of the artists have been doing here in South Africa. They've been doing these live streams. They call them home concerts, and then guys can donate money towards that particular band that's playing.
They got to keep playing. They got to keep doing this. And I think it might actually, if they got time to prepare and practice, it might become up something more creative, not just a camera on somebody playing the music that they used to. I mean, what was that video we saw? That might have been on TikTok, where there was 4 guys on one stream, and they managed to do Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Oh yeah. So there's a band.
There was a guitarist in one location, drummer in another, and so on.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember a band in South Africa called Vonneboom.
Yeah, Vonneboom.
Yeah, they've put out a couple of videos there where it's the 4 of them. I'm assuming they're in their own houses and they're playing their music, but they're playing it over. They're recording and putting on Instagram, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. So the guys are becoming creative, which I think is cool, and they've pivoted a bit, which is not too bad. I'm glad that they're finding ways to generate some income.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a time where they can't go out and perform, and this is obviously a time when you would expect them to be more creative, write new content, try new stuff. But that you can't just turn on that magic. If you're in a position where you've just come off, a tour, or you can't just switch on now in creative mode. For a lot of these guys, they like to get down and they, just. It's almost planned. It has to be a time of quiet and no distraction.
Yeah.
But if you're not ready for that time mentally, then
So like for me, like when you got a day job, which I'm very fortunate to have, but when you got a day job and you want to be doing creative kind of things, and you've got a very limited amount of time to do that kind of thing, and then you say, okay, this Saturday I've got time. It's very difficult in that moment to come up with some creative idea unless something's been brewing in your head for a while. And then, so like what I found now being under lockdown is that because I've got a little bit more space in terms of life's not coming at me at 100 miles an hour, that I've got a lot more creative ideas. In terms of what I want to do with the podcast, what I want to do, I've been wanting to create videos like his promo videos and, just content that I can put out there that's related to motorcycles or tattoos or, whatever it is. And I've been thinking about it like for months, and I just can't come up with concepts or whatever. I've got like little bits and all that, but you just don't have time to play. Like now, all of a sudden, I've got a little bit more time to play, a little bit more time to think about some creative ideas. So I suppose there is like if you're a band that's been touring and life's busy and whatever, and you have this moment, you do maybe have some more, some space to create, maybe write new songs, come up with some new ideas, that kind of thing. So I suppose there is a positive side to it.
Well, you got to be in the right mindset, but it's good. I mean, this is a struggle for these guys, and as long as they can keep going and keep doing what they do, when we start mingling in public again, we're gonna want to go to these things.
I don't know if I'm going to want to mingle in public anymore.
Well, it's going to be strange, right?
It's going to be. It's going to feel weird.
Strange.
It's going to feel weird. Yeah. Listen, dude, we're coming up for an hour, and the Instagram live is probably going to die because Instagram only allows you to live stream for an hour.
Okay.
So,
well, I've got one more thing I wanted to mention.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do a quick one.
A quick one.
Yes.
And it's very quick because obviously with all the sports events being postponed and cancelled.
Yes.
I just spare a thought for I forget his name, Ayala. It's a Paraguayan athlete.
Yes.
Who needs to fix his tattoo that he got, which was Tokyo 2020, because he was expecting to go to the Olympics this year.
It's going to have to be Tokyo 2021. Eh?
Yeah, it's quite a big tattoo. It's all over his calf. And it wraps around a bit.
I'm gonna go Google that and see.
So bear a thought for this guy.
I know some good tattoo artists that do good cover work, cover up work.
I might have to fly to Paraguay to do it though.
Yeah. Okay, well, dude, we'll end off on that one. Thanks very much for pulling in. Oleg sent me a message to say, sorry, dude, overslept. Didn't hear my alarm. So. Like you said, I think
there you go.
Oversleep
Oleg.
Oversleep.
OS Oleg.
Oh, well, anyway. Right.
All right, dude.
So,
it's been real.
Cool, man. Of course, you're more than welcome anytime. So if you're available next Saturday and you want to have a bit of a laugh, then pull in.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. It's I think I'm going to come prepared with a bit more.
It's fine. The nice thing about this is
we'll be another week deeper into this homebound situation.
Yeah,
we need uplifting stuff.
Yeah. Get some of that creative juice going there, dude. We need some Monty Python kind of stuff going.
Right, dude. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks, Lester. Catch you soon, man.
Keep it real.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kill the Zoom meeting. We'll check you next time, man. Cheers. Bye.